The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.
Well, hey there. 28 minutes after 5. Flakes are checking in. One Line Monday. 17 degrees out there with a little breeze, so it's a little chilly. We did not get the snow here in Billings they thought we were going to get, and I think everybody's just fine with that. Looks like the western part of the state got some. I'm seeing some stuff on Facebook this morning about the roads being bad. But for people here, that's not really a story because we drive on those kind of roads all the time.
You know what, Wilson? That was my kind of blizzard.
I'll bet.
My kind of blizzard.
I'll bet.
We had maybe an inch.
Yep.
Didn't cause any problems. Had everything bedded down, strawed down. And it's my kind of... Well, remember last week, early in the week, starting Monday, Tuesday... kept saying, let's not jump the gun here yet. And every day as we got closer to the weekend, up to Friday, it just kept getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, they don't know. These kind of storms, you don't know. If it gets cold, usually you have less snow, stuff like that. And I was just... and even Friday, winter storm warning, 5 to 9 inches and blah, this and that. And I thought, I don't know. I had that feeling. Mm-hmm. Boy, I woke up on Sunday morning because Saturday night I came to town and I went home, and it still was not snowing. I went out and checked the heifers when I got back, and it was just, I took my light, and I shined it up in the sky, like a spotlight to see the snow, and just kind of spitting a little, and got up Saturday morning, then about 2 o'clock, went out and checked the heifers, still no snow. And I thought, oh, yes, woke up Sunday morning, and I slept till about 6:10 when the dogs got me up. And got up and I said, okay, here we go. And opened the door and let the dogs out in the front yard, and I could still see grass.
Wow.
And maybe that much, that much on the sidewalks, an inch, maybe real light, airy stuff. And I said, it's Sunday and I'm thanking the Lord, man. Yeah. And it kind of spit through the morning, but it was by 10 o'clock, it was nothing. So,
well, it's obviously not as important for my livelihood as it is for yours with the weather. I've got a little pillow that's on my love seat. And when my head is at the south end, I can't see out the windows because I got the blinds closed because that's where the sun comes in. But the love seat is 20 years old and pretty worn out. So there's not a lot of padding right on the edge of the rails there. So I got to switch places every couple hours. And so when I switched, and then I could see out the front window there by the doors, I'm like, hey, we didn't get all that snow.
Oh, God. I'm going to start a GoFundMe page for you, Mark.
I don't want a new one.
Oh.
I don't. It's the most comfortable piece of furniture. Mm-hmm. Fits me just right.
Yeah. Yeah, so we dodged a bullet. They had a little heavier stuff further south, had some problems down by Hardin places. But, that wasn't because of the snow was so deep. That's just because it was so slick.
Yeah.
Warm roadways, moisture hits it, freezes up, slick problems that way. So I see we got another little blast possibly coming again this weekend. 40% chance Saturday and Sunday this coming. It's Easter this weekend, I think. Last weekend of March.
Yeah, because today's 25th.
Yeah, 31st. 31st is Easter. Easter's early this week. So, another little blast coming this weekend. I think they'll be a little more cautious in their issuing of winter storm warnings and everything a little early in this one. That storm moved through, went out towards New England, went across the Dakotas. I talked to Maddie. She said it kind of just blew by them, too. They were expecting more, and they didn't get much. They had some more snow and rain move into Southern California, which it's their rainy season, December through this time of year. Lake Tahoe received about a foot of new snow. Mammoth Mountain out there got 18 inches of snow by Sunday morning. A day earlier, the resort was forced to close several of their ski lifts after a 91-mile-an-hour wind gust was reported. That would do it for me, Wilson.
That would retire me from skiing.
On the ski lift. Wow. England swings like a pendulum do. My sickle out something 2x2 or whatever it is. Man, 91-mile-an-hour winds there. A 35-year-old woman had to be rescued after being swept away in a storm-swollen Los Angeles River. What are you doing near the river? If it's, I know what she was doing, Mark. Here, let me show you.
Getting a selfie.
Yeah, that's right. That's what she was doing.
Probably.
Fell into the river. She had to be rescued. Let's see here. Heavy snow was expected to spread across central and eastern Montana into the northern plains Sunday. I don't know how much snow they got up north. Did you talk to your mom over the weekend? See how much they got?
No, I get...
You get the Marco Polos,
You
don't
get,
you?
you get the Marco Polo, and there's a little white bar in the bottom so you can see how long it is when it first starts. Mm-hmm. And I get two types of really long Marco Polos. One is about politics, and one is about the Bible. And so I looked, and she said, "Good morning, sweetheart," and I saw how long it was, so I didn't watch it.
Okay. Jeez.
But actually, I saw a thing on TV last night. Belt, just 20 miles from Great Falls, got 7 inches of snow.
Yeah, so, they were expecting a little more up there. Lewistown, North, places like that. But anyway, that was my kind of blizzard. So I put out some more straw on everything yesterday, keep stuff warm, dry, and big wrestling tournament in town over the weekend, so the Heights was busy. They had something else going on too at the Expo Center. They had that spring show or something there that they were doing, and I see next weekend they have the reptile show. It's a good thing they didn't have it this weekend. Not very good weather for reptiles. I don't know what they do with the reptile show, but it's probably sold out.
Yeah, stop it.
But they have a reptile show up there.
Saw pictures from the wrestling, and I wouldn't say sold out, but people sitting all the way to the top. 8 mats down there.
Yeah, they had a good crowd. 2,500 wrestlers.
We didn't have any sons. Well, I guess the gals wrestle now too. But I'm gonna guess being a wrestling parent is a lot like being a volleyball parent, where you get a lot of time off.
Yeah. They have those AAU tournaments all over the place, and I watched a little basketball over the weekend. And
Did you stay up for the end of the Houston game last night?
no, I didn't.
Oh.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't. Houston, when I went to bed, Houston was up by about 10.
Right.
And I had to go out and check the heifers, and I knew I had to get up and go outside about 2 again. So I thought I'm going to go to bed. Did Houston win?
But Texas A&M hit a 3 at the buzzer to put it into overtime because Houston had 4 guys foul out.
Really?
Yeah. And then it took them a little bit to figure out who was who because your main scorer's out, and your main defensive guy's out, and they just pretty much killed him in overtime. But and I shouted. It was 9:28 when the ball went through the basket. I said, "That is what I love about the NCAA tournament because anybody, man."
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's just off. Every game is riveting, and no lead. Well, there were a few leads that were safe. Duke's lead was safe yesterday. Purdue didn't have any. They pretty much wanted to get rid of the idea that they're vulnerable.
Right, and they sat that 7-6 guy pretty early on too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But like you talked about last week, now we're into the round of 16.
Oh yeah,
there's no bad games.
No. I watched. What was it? Saturday night. I watched the Creighton game. That went into double overtime. That was a good game. Creighton against Oakland, I think. That was a great game. Good games. Had an article here today. All top 8 seeds advanced to the Sweet 16. UConn, North Carolina, Houston, and Purdue, they all advanced. And the number 2 seeds were Tennessee, Marquette, Iowa State, Arizona. They all advanced.
That UConn San Diego State game will be awesome. San Diego State killed Yale.
San Diego State, they made it to the championship last year.
And people have forgotten about that.
Oh, the games will all be great.
Yeah.
They'll all be great games. Great games. It's a great sporting event, no doubt about that. So now are those just weekend games, or do they play Thursday, Friday again? No, I think they play Thursday, Friday again, don't they? And then Saturday, Sunday?
3/28.
3/28. Yeah, that's Thursday. Yeah.
Good.
Thursday, Friday. You play Thursday, Friday, and then the winners play Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
And then the next weekend is the Final Four and the championship. Clemson, I watched Clemson last night. That was a good ball game.
Yeah, it was.
Clemson's got a good team. They got bigs. They got guards. Clemson has a good team. That Alabama Grand Canyon game, that thing was a slugfest, track meet, alley rat, street ball game. I have never seen anything like that in my life. I don't think Grand Canyon ran one offensive play in that game. They just, whoever gets, you clear it out and take it to the hoop. There was like 50 free throws in that game. It was crazy, but just good stuff. I like watching some of that. Good entertainment. I was telling Mark this morning, folks, the tragedy on Friday where the terrorist blew up that concert hall and shot and killed and burned and maimed 120 plus people over there in Russia. They got the 4 guys and they made their court appearance yesterday and they beat the hell out of them. They're all beaten up, bruised up. They just worked them guys over. Trying to get information, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a little different animal over there. And but you know, I heard about that on Friday. And I wanted immediately to go to the first press conference that Joe Biden was at, and I wanted to say, Mr. President, now do you plan on closing our border? Now that this has happened in Russia, you can't sneak into Russia, and they got in there. Now will you please secure our border? Now will you shut it down? Folks, we've had 10 million people get into this country since he's been president. 10 million. Just imagine.
Calling all you party animals.
Boy, you best get your green on for the Roadside Event Center's St. Patrick's Weekend Bash in Huntley.
The fun starts Friday, March 15th with bingo at 7, huge jackpots, and awesome prizes.
Why then, on Saturday night, dance the night away to live music with Callan Beasley and the Honky Tonk Arcade at 8.
Wrap up the weekend with their annual Shamrock Shuffle on St. Patrick's Day at 10 a.m. Take the short drive to the Blue Cat Bar and Grill
at 139 Northern Avenue in Huntley.
Just imagine if, and most of them are young males between 18 and 25.
Yeah.
Mr. President, after you saw what happened, we have no clue where these people are, who they're associated. 20-some thousand Chinese men. You can't even get out of China unless they let you out, but they got here to get in. Do you think we need to close our border now? All you Democrats out there, do you think we need to close our border down now? If he wins again and we have another 10 million in the next 4 years, that's 20 million just that would come in over those 2 presidential terms of his. Folks, that's getting close to 10% of our population. Yeah. Starting to push it. Something bad is going to happen here. And it's inevitable with that many people. So somebody needs to ask him, will you please close it down now? Why not? You can do so. At the press conference where you ask him the question, he could say, you're right, I do by here order that the border will be closed. I want my National Guard and my military to close. He could do it just like that.
Yeah.
It's out of national safety concerns, everything. He could do it immediately. At the microphone, where he stands, he could do it. These 4 guys, able to get in there in Russia, they have tougher standards than we do, folks. Getting in and out of there, killed 130. All 4 charged with terrorism. 2 of the suspects accepted the guilt in their assault. These men were all citizens of Tajikistan. I don't even know where that's at. And these men are all between the ages of 25 and 32. One was 19, I guess. The men were tortured during interrogation by Russian security services. Showed signs of heavy bruising and swollen faces. Yeah, well, you know what? They got the information they needed. Those men didn't care about the 130 people they killed and burned to death.
No.
So the 4th suspect was brought to courtroom in a wheelchair. His eyes were swollen shut. 2 admitted guilt right away for the attacks. The attack was claimed by an affiliate of an Islamic State group. The same group said they're anti-Israel. Yeah, the same group said a lot of Democrats are aligning with now in the United States. Their anti-Semitic views against Israel. It's awful. They had their flags lowered to half-staff. They have to use DNA testing on a lot of the bodies. Putin called it a bloody, barbaric terrorist attack. Putin's a ruthless dictator, too. No doubt about it. But I can guarantee you this. His borders will be more secure than ever now.
Oh.
More secure than ever. Not ours. Still wide open. We have these Islamic terrorist groups now, even going into Russia and committing terrorist attacks. We're not closing ours down. You heard his speech. Come one, come all. Our borders are open. We welcome everyone. Come on. And you Democrats voted for this guy, and he's still letting them in. They don't care. These radical Islamic extremists, they don't care. They'll go after anybody, any infidel anywhere around the world. That includes us. Meantime, we got Iran building nuclear weapons. Israel's doing the dirty work for every nation in this world to protect us. And yet our own democratic legislative body here is anti-Israel and continues to give billions of dollars to Iran. making the hardware and distributing it to these terrorist organizations all around the world and using it against innocent people. Your own members of Congress, Tlaib and others, all taking the side of Hamas and the anti-Israel coalition. And they're trying to do the world a favor. They've taken on the fight on their own. And we won't support them, but we support Iran? You know how stupid that is? We're funding the very country, killing them, fighting them. Blinken, Biden, they're dips. They have no idea. This anti-Semitic state that we have in D.C. now, it's crazy. And they're doing the dirty work for the world. They've taken on the responsibility. Stay out of their way. Let them finish it. The more successful they are, the safer we are. Yeah. Except for our open borders. There were over 1 million gotaways last year. Have no idea where they were, who they were. No court, just got away. Came in, snuck in, ran, got away. Nope, still no secure border. Still none. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And all the people that support it will have no liability whatsoever. None.
You're right.
Won't take responsibility for it. None. Zero. Party first, man. That's all that matters. Party and money first. Party, money, and power first. They passed that stupid bill, and the president signed it immediately over the weekend. Well, this just goes to show you what bipartisan... No, it doesn't, because you got everything you wanted in that bill. There is no bipartisanship if the Democrats don't like it. We got bipartisanship ruined America. It's not supposed to be that way. The system wasn't set up that way. You're not supposed to get along. It's supposed to be difficult to impose tyranny on the American citizens and budget deficits that our grandchildren and your children and everyone else's children will have to pay for forever because of this reckless approach to government that, again, another 1.2 trillion extra. That's just extra. An omnibus bill. The whole budget in 1980, folks, for the whole United States was $980 billion. This is 1.2 extra onto all the spending last year just to keep the government open. Of course, with all their special little things in there.
Of course.
And we pay. It's crazy. God. Well, we have no clue who's here, who's running around our country, what they're planning, what their objectives are. We let them in. Those people will all vote someday. That's why they're here. If those people coming across the border, folks, all had MAGA hats on, they wouldn't have had a chance.
Shot them down.
You think Trump's wall was big? Tyson Foods made news today. They're not hiring workers who came to the U.S. illegally. That's what they said. There were conservative groups around the country that spread online that their company planned to hire 52,000 people who came to the United States illegally. So the company had to quickly stop that.
Because I saw that last week.
Tyson is committed to hiring 2,500 refugees in the U.S. over 3 years as part of a 2022 agreement. Agreement with whom? Who? Biden administration? All of their employees, they said, have to be authorized to work in the country. Tyson Foods is in the news immediately on this because Tyson Foods saw what happened to Bud Light. Yeah. Tyson Foods saw what happened to all these other businesses. And people can speak with their dollars.
That's right.
Tyson's closing their facility in Perry, Iowa. They're laying off 1,200 workers. And in a statement on X, there was a post that said instead of closing, they plan on hiring thousands of new illegals in states like New York. Hashtag boycott Tyson, pass it on. The company, the latest in a growing list of businesses targeted for calls of boycott, claims that these woke policies will not be implemented in their company. They have 120,000 employees. They got 6,000 open jobs at Tyson places all around the country. Well, and we got lazy pukes here in this country that won't work.
Right.
Tyson said approximately 42,000 of their current U.S. employees are non-citizens that have work authorization. You know, it's funny because a lot of these companies, a lot of these Democrats, they all like cheap labor. They like it. They like all these people coming in because it's better for their bottom line. It's crazy. Putting people working so much cheaper and for so much less money and unlimited hours. They will work unlimited hours. They wanted the open borders. They wanted cheap. And yet the unions support the Democratic Party.
Right.
Which totally goes against any union mindset. Long hours, cheap pay, no power. Scripps News published an article that reported Tyson wanted to hire 52,000 asylum seekers for factory jobs. And when you have the United States of America that pays unemployment, like we do, for God knows how many weeks now. It was 99 weeks during the pandemic, and then they upped it, $400 to $500 a week.
Right.
And these lazy, fat-ass people sit there and don't do a damn thing and just are nursing off of the government and they can't hire workers. We got 9 million jobs open.
Mm-hmm. Well, these people aren't going to work if it's when a few bucks are just sitting home.
That's right. And they like those people, too. They vote for the candidate that's got a D behind their name because they keep it coming. That's why we just spent an extra $1.2 trillion extra to keep our budget running, folks. That's because of stuff like this. Tyson announced March 11th they were closing a big pork processing facility in Perry, Iowa. That's the town's largest employer. They didn't give specifics. They had closed a plant in Virginia and Arkansas to consolidate their operations. Tyson said they'll be hiring now in New York because there's been a massive influx of migrants there in New York. See? Cheap labor. That's why that border's open. One of the many reasons. Payback. These big donors to that party, they get payback. I'll bet if you looked hard enough and find out the contributions that Tyson made to campaigns around the country last time around, it would be to a lot of these people that all support this open border policy, which brings in all this cheap labor for Tyson Foods.
Yeah.
It's a big, vicious, ugly, corrupt circle is what it is.
Calling all you party animals.
Or you best get your green on for the Roadside Event Center's St. Patrick's Weekend Bash in Huntley.
The fun starts Friday, March 15th with bingo at 7, huge jackpots, and awesome prizes.
Why then, on Saturday night, dance the night away to live music with Callan Beasley and the Honky Tonk Arcade at 8.
Wrap up the weekend with their annual Shamrock Shuffle on St. Patrick's Day at 10 a.m. Take the short drive to the Blue Cat Bar and Grill
at 139 Northern Avenue in Huntley.
And because of the policies which make it easy for people in America not to work, and we, not only that, Mark, we reward them.
Yeah.
We reward them. Let's do this. Let's take all that unemployment money and give that money to everybody who is below minimum wage to bring them up to that standard now. Rather than paying those people massive sums of money not to work, let's take that money and give it to the people who are on the lower end of the scale.
Who are
trying and bring them up to par. If you had to do it, it would be much better served to do that than the other one. No doubt about it, because you got people out there who are busting their ass, working as many hours as they can for $10 to $15 an hour. And then you got these other pigs that are sitting there and aren't going to work. And we're paying them, and we're paying them enough to pay rent and get food. They get a SNAP card. What? We're rewarding the slugs, and we're making it difficult for the people trying. Mm-hmm. Folks, that's bull crap. But that's government, see? They've done it like that for so many years, that party in particular, because they will pander every group, every person, every sex, every color, every country, every occupation, anything they can for a vote. For a vote. If it's a possible vote, we're going to help them and we're going to buy their vote. Student loans, you name it, just go down the list. It never stops. Never stops. And we're vulnerable, so we got to be careful. 86% of Montana students, this is in the paper today, 86% of Montana students who start high school graduate. We have a 14% dropout rate. Graduation rate soared between 2009 and 2020, went from 80% to 86%. Well, that's easy. All you have to do now is get 182 days in.
True. Yeah, they changed the rules.
Yeah, no academic standards necessary to graduate anymore. You don't need to pass. You just go there. If you get the attendance in, you're moved through. 66% of native high school kids graduate on time. So we got to do better. We have to do better. Okay. Oh, and in case you missed it, folks, Friday we announced the Flakes trip. That's right. That's right. We do a trip at, what will this trip be? Our
29.
29. Now, there's good news.
This is why you don't want Paul to be your doctor.
What? I would be a great doctor. There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is we're going to Akumal again. Beautiful resort. Folks, you can't beat it. I mean, why stop a good thing? And everybody knows about it. Mark and I both received calls over the weekend that we thought we were sold out immediately. I mean, it didn't take long. I talked to Carol yesterday, and she told me that she has 10 more rooms now available. So here's the thing. The approach is kind of like when Mark and I sell pickups. I'll take it. Can you hold the pickup until next Thursday when Mark and I don't sell pickups that way?
No.
We sell pickups to the first person that shows up at our door and they have a check for that pickup.
Right.
They're going out the driveway with that pickup. Same way with a trip. Carol told me she had a lot of people that said, okay, we're definitely interested. Let us talk to our spouse about it. Let's talk this and that. And then we'll get back to you next week. And Carol said, okay, fine, but I can't hold them.
Right.
If somebody else is going to make a deposit or anything like that. Now, there is some good news that there's about 30 people that are going differently than the group. And so that works out well for the rest of you folks because it opens up spots with the group on the airplane.
Right.
The airplane is the big thing.
Yeah.
We have two dates. January 20th is a departure date and January 21st is a departure date. And so since those others are going independently, we got people again coming from Arizona. I'm leaving a day earlier, taking a group down with me the day before. That opens up all those planes. So there are 10 left. But Carol said by the end of the week, they're going to be gone because these people are going to get back to her. It came in about $150 a person cheaper this year,
right?
Which is good because of the airlines. And I get this article today. With all the recent headlines about panels and tires falling off of planes, is flying safe? So it's a good time to talk about that. Yes, folks, it's safe. It's safe.
Hey, there's more good news.
What's that?
We still got a trip to give away.
I forgot about that part of the good news. A trip for two.
A trip for two. And we saw a lot of first-timers at the trip party giveaway last year. First of all, in addition to being the best trip at the best resort, it's the best party.
No doubt.
It's the best party, folks. Yeah. Of all the things we do, we're so proud of this because it's such a good time.
Let me tell you about a contest we did last year that Mark D. Wilson, P.O. Box 1276 Billings, 5910, that he ran last year. He gave everybody a bag of Skittles. And he said, okay, now, the first person who can remove all of the green or yellow Skittles, I can't remember which color he picked, will get an entry into the Flakes trip. So Mark picked a woman who was colorblind. What an a-hole. Picked a woman who was colorblind and made her participate in that Skittles contest.
You know what you can't do?
What, Mark?
You can't look at somebody and tell if they're colorblind.
Oh, you did it on purpose. I told everybody there. Mark did that on purpose. But he's right. We've got another one to give away. But you know what? For flying and stuff like that, folks, well, one the reason why we go there in this trip, because we only have one stop every year. One stop. That's it. We don't have to worry, and we pick winter airports.
Right.
It has been, according to this article, I'm going to hurry through this, it's been 15 years since we've had a fatal crash of a U.S. airliner. 15 years.
Wow.
That's impeccable.
Yeah.
When you think of the flights every day, 365 days a year, 15 years. We've had cracked windshields, engine problems, doors flying off, stuff like that. Yeah, like any other person would have with an automobile. Is flying getting more dangerous? The answer is no. February of 2009. Last year alone, folks, there were 9.6 million flights.
Jeez.
Almost 10 million flights. Not one. It's safe. It's safe. And, these kind of stories make for hits, downloads, viewership.
Oh, yeah, it's something you click on.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Clicks. Thank you. Yeah, that's what it is. You have a 1 in 93 chance of dying in a motor vehicle crash. In Billings, it's got to be higher than that.
Roundabouts.
Oh, my gosh. 1 in 93, according to the DOT. This is flying is the safest form of transportation ever created. Whereas every day in the United States, a 737 full of people die on our roadways every day. 44,000 people died last year in vehicle crashes. We haven't had a death on an airplane because of a crash in 15 years with 10 million flights a year.
I didn't know the number, but that's impressive.
That is very, very impressive. And it's inevitable. It will happen again someday, unfortunately. But safety records and things like that, impeccable. So, and I know that not one person that goes on a Flakes trip is worried about that.
No.
They're worried about whether they'll get down to the all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet by 8 o'clock once we get there and have a margarita, and we'll worry about unpacking all our crap later. Mm-hmm. That's what they worry about.
Yeah.
So another beautiful, wonderful trip of a lifetime, folks, coming up in January. Well, just think, today is today's what, the 25th. Mm-hmm. So only 10 months away. God. We'll start giving people a chance to win in September, and time flies, folks. Enjoy it while you're here. I know the winners last year are going this year.
Yeah, because now they know.
Now they know. So if you want to go, get a hold of Carol immediately today at the Travel Cafe. Their number is 259-0999. Her direct number is 294-9203, or by email, Carol B as in boy, Carol B at travelcafegroup.com. Carol B at travelcafegroup.com. And you could be one of the many, many smiling faces going with Mark and I in January. And you never know. It could be our last big group trip because we don't know what's coming here at the end of the year for us. So
right.
Anyway.
But we know what's going in January.
That's right. We know that, Wilson. That's a good point. Oh, and we're going to let you folks have it, man, when we get close. Woo!
First news coming up.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Events Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.